This video is on how to form a W in Fundations, like their verbiage that goes with it. The first part is that, but then after that we'll kind of troubleshoot what you might do if your child or student struggles forming the W. So verbiage from Fundations is W is a plain line slide letter. It starts on the plain line and it slides. So go to the plain line, slide down to the grass line, slide up to the plain line, slide down to the grass line, slide up to the plain line. W, wind, woo. Now, on the W especially, it's kind of tricky to say that sound without adding an You don't want to say wah, it's woo, by the way. So, when you're making a W, it might help for them to start by making a V because it's essentially two V's put together, right? And so if they can't do a W properly, you might go look at my V video and help them get solid at that. But typical errors I see for W always include we're not touching lines, so maybe they might form something like this. We talk about, is this line touching or is it floating? And they're floating. Same thing here. So the floating is a pretty standard thing that kids typically do without instruction. Another thing I see with W is similar to the V, in that they might start to form it like this. And so we started off with a straight down, which with a W doesn't show up as much. But we want to make sure we correct that because there are several slide letters and they need to know to do the diagonal line and not a vertical line. So I will just ask kiddos, is this, if I'm out on the playground and I come across that, could I slide down that? And they'd be like, no. I said, no, I could walk across it, but I can't slide. If I see out on the playground, would a slide look like this? And they'd be like, well, no. And I said, what would happen if I slide on that one? They would say, well, we might fall. We would go straight down. And I would say, well, could we slide on something like this? And they would say, yes. Could we slide on something like this? And they would say, yes. So establishing what we mean by a slide letter and getting that connection made to something that they know and understand has been very helpful for my students. And so talk about touch, go to the plain line, and then we're going to make sure we slide, and then we're going to bounce, slide up, bounce, slide down, bounce, slide up. W, wind, woo.